Hello. God bless you. We're going to talk about authority versus power. The Greek word for authority is exousia. The Greek word for power is dunamis, where we get dynamite, dynamic, dynamo, dunamis, power, exousia, authority. And there are several times in the Bibles that we have translated in English where they translate exousia for power when it's not the same. For example, let's go to Luke chapter 10. Now I'm going to jump to a verse, Luke 10:19, where Jesus said, "Behold, I give you power to tread upon serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm you." That's the King James. I'll say it again. "Behold, I give you power to tread upon serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm you." You know, the New King James actually more correctly translates this verse. There are some improvements in the New King James. Like, for example, when it says in the King James, and it speaks of the end of the world, well, that word world is not cosmos. It's not even the earth. It's eon. It's the Greek word eon, ion, A-E-O-N. It's a period of time, not the world. So the New King James properly translates the end of the age when Jesus is speaking of that. Where Jesus says, "Behold, I give you power." That's actually exousia, authority. That's translated correctly. But the other one, the next time power is used, is dunamis. So in one single verse, exousia and dunamis are both translated as power when it's not true. And it's important to know the difference. Do you have the authority of God or the power of God? Does the devil have power, or does he have authority, or both, or either? "Behold, I give you authority to tread upon serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm you." So in that we see that we have authority. Now, what about authority? Let's define it. You know, a Mack truck is powerful. A Mack truck, driven by a man driving the Mack truck, can be stopped by a policeman standing in the crosswalk with his hand held up high. The policeman has authority, backed by the state, the military, the laws. He doesn't have the power to stop that truck in and of himself. He doesn't have the power, but he's got something actually maybe more powerful, so to speak. He's got the authority. So the Mack truck stops. How about in Ephesians chapter 2, where Paul says, he describes what he calls the prince of the power of the air, who deceiveth the whole world. The prince of the power of the air, who deceives the whole world. What if that word power was actually authority in the Greek? And it is. It's exousia, not dunamis. And the word prince, that's okay. It's actually the Greek word archon. All these people talking about archons. Oh, they know all about archons. They don't know the archons are the fallen angels. And you want to talk to archons? Don't be like John D. Got mixed up with talking to fallen angels. He thought they were the holy angels. The archons. Satan is the archon of the authority of the air. And actually that word air in the Greek is aer. It's air. And he deceives the whole world. He says very clearly, Paul says very clearly, chapter 2 of Ephesians, one of the most profound collections of words that have ever been written. Prince of the power of the air, no, the archon of the authority of the air. Now, does that include just the air we breathe? Or does it have to do with electromagnetism, the airwaves? Don't remember, isn't it true that Mr. Satan was in charge of music before he fell? He was involved in music. His pipes in Isaiah 14, Ezekiel 28, give us a history and a future of Mr. Satan. Mr. Satan's got authority over the airwaves. Who gave him authority? How'd he get authority? From man. Now, he originally got authority over the airwaves from God before he fell. A lot of people don't understand this very important point. When God gives a gift, even if you fall away, he doesn't take it back. The gifts and calling of God are without repentance. The gifts and calling of God, he's not going to take them back. So this is why a lot of preachers who have the gift of healing, and then they get the ego taken over, and the self, and the glory. And then they start to think the power is in them. They still have a little bit of the gift of healing. It's diminished, but they still have it. So these false preachers can sometimes do healings. But they don't have the power of God behind them anymore. Now, what about where it says in John chapter 1? Whereas many as received him and believed on his name, to them Jesus gave, as it says in the King James Bible and most of the Bibles, to them he gave power to become sons of God. Now, what's that in the actual Greek, shall we? In all of the manuscripts, the Alexandrian text and the Textus Receptus, which are two great ones, they all say exousia. Why do they translate it power when it's authority? Now, you could call it the right Authority has to do with a right, the right to become sons of God. So that's kind of misleading if they tell us He gave us the power to become sons of God. He gave us the right to, the authority to. And it is God who works in us, both to will and to do of His good pleasure. Works in us both to will and to do of His good pleasure. We work out our salvation with fear and trembling. That is, with a wholesome dread and a respect and an honor of the Creator, that we love and do not want to make Him ashamed of us. When we stand before Him, we want to have what? We want to be able to hear something close to, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joys prepared for you. For the foundation of the world, He gave us authority to become sons of God because we said, 'Come on in, God, be my Lord. I give my life to you.' And when I recognize that I don't have it, I got the power. I got the power. I got the power, man. Hey, don't get haughty. We got authority. He sent us out as emissaries, ambassadors to this wicked world of woe. 666, right? www. The wicked world of woe. The wicked witch of the West. The World Wide Web. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to back this up again. Now, what do you think about this? Authority versus power. Behold, I give you authority to tread upon serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. Mr. Satan's got authority over the airwaves. This is why he can mess with 5G. This is why he can mess with music. Everything that's flowing through the airwaves, he has authority. Now, he doesn't have power over us if we don't give him authority. Right? He came into my room in November of 1976 after I'd graduated from Indiana University in May before that. He took a hold of me. And I didn't believe that he even existed at that point. I started to hear from Carl Rodenberg, my associate that I was working with, who had been born again in January of that year. I think it was January the 11th, if I remember right. He starts telling me about Jesus. Well, I don't need Jesus. I'm pretty cool and handsome and oh, what bullshit. What vanity of vanities. Everything under the sun is vanity of vanities. When a person has the Lord Jesus Christ in, they're born again. New beginnings. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. But that wasn't the case. At the time, Mr. Satan came into my room and took a hold of my body. We'll talk about that another time. But he had authority to do it because he owned me and I didn't know it. Here's what he said. He said, "You disgusting despicable wretch. You think you can get away from me? He was a short man, actually, standing beside my bed. He used to be glorious and beautiful, but as he has lowered himself down into the dimensional planes, down into the first heaven, he's maybe, anyway, at this time he might have, I don't know exactly when he is cast down to earth out of the second heaven. He's already been out of the third heaven, paradise, place of God and glory. But he's in the second heaven. But now, at some point, we're talking right now, October of 2020. At some point, if he hasn't already, he will be cast down to earth. And his wrath is great because he knows his time is short. So he's cast down to earth. He knows he only has a short time. And his wrath is great. This is the Great Tribulation. At some point, Mr. Satan's son is going to come to the fore, save the world, so it would seem. What do you think? Now he's got authority to do that. Why? Because people, humans, were given authority by God in the garden. And man, that is male and female, man, people call it mankind, okay, that's fine. Man should be a little more kind, I guess. Mankind believed the lie of Mr. Satan that flew in as a dragon to the fig tree and seduced Eve. Adam was not deceived, but Adam loved Eve so much that he participated. And whenever a person takes information from a demonic spirit or Satan and acts on it, we have given them authority, an opening. This is why so many people that play Ouija, and that's so well, it's dangerous as it can be, but it's so tame compared to what people are doing now, and inviting in demonic spirits. But if you ask information from that spirit that spells out information to you, says they're a dead guy that got killed in a car crash 15 years ago in Owensboro, Kentucky, and he's going to give information. Or maybe he says he's your grandfather. And you're asking, grandfather, if it's really you, tell me what you called me when I was a little girl. And then spells out Pumpsky. And now she knows it's her grandfather, because he always called her Pumpsky and nobody knew that. Oh, are you serious? Nobody knew. Are you serious? Do you honestly think that we're not being surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses all the time? There's spirits all around. There are holy angels around us. At least one guardian angel. Boom. Powerful. But we've got the dead, the departed, our grandparents, etc. Whenever we mention the name of a departed person, they have the legal right to listen. And they learn. They listen and they learn. They learn how to be better or how to be worse. Most people have not gone to glory yet, and most people have not gone to their destruction. Because people are still going to be, during the next 1,000 years after Christ comes back and sets up his kingdom on earth, for 1,000 years, all these disembodied spirits, they don't go into the lake of fire until after the 1,000 years. They don't have to go into the lake of fire if they're willing to learn and look and see during the millennial reign of Christ how to be better. They'll still be disembodied, but they will have their very body of themselves. And if they're the more wretched or the more good they are, they'll have that emanation of either brightness or not, right? Mr. Satan is small now. In Isaiah 14, remember where it says, and they'll look on him and say, is this the man that made the nations tremble? I asked God, a while back, because I knew I was talking about Mr. Satan, because he calls him right there in Isaiah 14, the anointed cherub who covereth. Anointed, obviously by the Spirit of God, the great Spirit, the Ruach, anointed, touched by God, anointed as a cherub. Remember, there are cherub and seraphim. Cherubim being the plural of cherubim, seraphim. In the Hebrew, the I am pluralizes it. Sometimes it magnifies it, not just pluralizes it, but he was a cherub. And then I asked God, well, why does it say, is this the man, that made the nations tremble? Well, because he has lowered himself. He has left his first estate in order to come down and have sex. Yes, sexual intercourse with Eve, and Adam participated. Don't get freaked out now. Eve, God bless her, she knows. She's a good girl, and she's with God. She is with God. And of course, Adam as well. They try to tell their children, don't mess with Cain's children. But as the population on the earth started to grow and grow and grow, the sons of God looked on the daughters of men, saw that they were good. Oh, that's another mistranslation. Good. They all say saw that they were fair or saw that they were good looking. No, it's the Hebrew word good. It doesn't mean good looking, it means good. As we first saw earlier on in Genesis. And God said that it was good. Every time, good. That's an absolute term. The fallen angels that lowered themselves from the first estate, heavenly estate, their glorious state, they lowered themselves to like the form of a human, a small human. These angelic beings were gigantic. They lowered themselves down. Now, the holy angels can do that all day long, appear just like one of us. But the unholy angels, they use that ability to be able to fork with women, some women. Oh, God. Remember when Apollo, now he's one of the sons of Mr. Satan by a woman. Also Alexander the Great, Zeus. Okay, Zeus is Satan. It's clearly brought out in Revelation, where it describes the seat of Satan, the throne of Zeus. But Zeus has a son named Apollo with a woman. He's got also a son named Alexander the Great by Olympia, who clearly told her son Alexander, your father is not Philip. It's kind of interesting that Philip, his earthly father, had one eye poked out. He had a patch on it. He says, why not? I don't know if that's important. Everything's important. But yeah, we could go to Alexander the Great now. He ends up in Babylon in 323 BC. He dies after having people worship him as God. One of his earliest friends that had saved him twice from death had gone back to Greece. And as he's returning to Babylon, where Alexander had conquered and is now reigning, he's going to declare that he's a god and everybody has to come in and bow down before him. Well, his friend comes back. And he's told, no, before you go in there, you got to remember he's God. And you got to bow down before him. And this man, former friend of Alexander the Great. Now, there was some possibility that Alexander was thinking this guy was actually trying to betray him, was working behind the scenes. I don't know. But the man does not, he says, I saved that man's life. He would not be alive in there being God if I had not saved his life. No, I will not go in, bow down. Well, he didn't go in and bow down. He did go in, but he didn't come out alive. Now, back to Apollo. See, first, Alexander the Great is a type of an Antichrist. He wants to be worshipped as God. He's in Babylon, kind of an important place for Antichrist. He's going to come back, just like King Arthur comes back, the once and future king. Just like Apollo comes back. Reading in Revelation, comes out of the sea. Apollyon. But there's an interesting side story. Apollo, there was a wonderful woman named Cassandra. This is a true story. Now, of course, Homer writes about this. And Homer's Iliad and Odyssey were considered by the Greeks as basically what could be called their Bible. And as it turns out, it was accurately presenting, if you substitute the various gods for fallen angels and their intercourse with humans. And Zeus, Jupiter, Satan, same guy. So Apollo, this ties in with giving a gift, giving authority for something, okay? God does not take his gifts away. He gives a gift, then take it away. Gives you authority to tread upon serpents and scorpions. And over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm you. So Apollo is with Cassandra. Now, she's a virtuous woman. And back to where it said, and they saw that they were good. The fallen angels saw that certain people were good. Why did they want to fork with good? That's why. Because they were good. They wanted to corrupt the innocents. Just like they're doing now with the children. Just like they're doing now with the people that harm the children, that shed innocent blood. Just like that. They wanted to fork with God's creation. And how do you do it? You go after the good. Oh, they've already got the treacherous, the ones that did not receive the love of the truth that they might be saved, but took pleasure in unrighteousness. These are the ones that are going to be deceived in these last days, because they did not receive the love of the truth that they might be saved, but took pleasure in unrighteousness. Oh, receive. Well, that has to do with authority. Right back there in John chapter 1, it said the light came into the world, enlightening every man coming into the world, everyone coming into the world. A lot of people did not receive that light. They rejected it. It's a willful thing to reject. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But as many as did receive him, to them, he gave the authority, the right to become children of God, sons of God. Hallelujah. So back to Cassandra. Apollo wants to lure her into his bed, have a child with her, of course, and fork her, so to speak. But of course, he was enamored by her beauty, and actually by her beautifulness, her goodness. These evil ones, on the one hand, they hate goodness and beauty, but they're attracted to it, but they can't have it ever. Anyway, he promises her that he gives her the gift to see the future. He has the ability to see into the future, not the whole future. He gives her the gift to see the future. But she wouldn't share his bed. Didn't matter. Now he can't take the gift away any more than God. This is the deal. If you get given a gift, they can't take it away. Spiritual gift. Powerful spiritual gift. Now, what's he going to do? He can't take away the gift. She will not share his bed. But he's going to fork with her. He's going to cause no one to believe her. So when she sees what's going to happen to Troy and she warns people, nobody listens. Several times she warns. She has the pain of going through life, seeing the future, but no one believes her. God bless Cassandra. We'll see her in heaven.